Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Piranha Pond StreamCast Live at 5. I am your host, Kingfish Matt. I'm joined today by Piranhas in the Pond. Next to me, I have the lovely Miss Nick Mo. How you doing,
Hey,
Chef?
what's up, people? How y'all doing?
Hanging in there, hanging in there.
Chilling.
And also in the pond, uh, we got my brother from another mother, my boy, Mr. Nun Flyer. How you doing today, bro?
Hey man, I'm well, man. All types of chill, brother. All types of chill.
Right. And of course, the 33rd and 3rd, Mr. Nick Nass is in Traffico right now. He's going to join us as soon as he's able to connect. It's all good. We're going to be waiting for him and welcome. We want to welcome you guys to, I guess this is more of a somber and serious episode of the Piranha Pond. In light of all the different stuff that we've been dealing with throughout the pandemic, before the pandemic, and then right up to right now, we thought that it was fair for us to address some of the shit that's been going on. As you guys know, in Minneapolis right now, or in Minnesota, we have a bunch of protests and shit going on because police done killed one of us again. This time it's a young black man, 20 years old, Dante Wright. And this time what they're saying is that it was an accident. The police didn't mean to shoot him, just meant to tase him. Hey, we sorry. The news this morning is that the female officer who, 26-year veteran, who actually discharged her firearm, quote unquote, on accident, she resigned from the department. Chief of police, quote unquote, resigned. We kind of know that he was probably made to step down. And right now, the mayor of that particular city is running the police department and everything around it. So the question of the day today is cops versus the community. Are we being protected and served by the police departments in our various communities?
Well, let's jump into this first. Let's start with Miss Police Officer Brooklyn Center, 48 years old, 26-year-old veteran who claims she couldn't distinguish her taser from her gun. 94 graduate of St. Mary's College, criminal justice major, so you know she knows what's coming.
Right.
Police chief who, like you said, was forced to have to bite the bullet on that because ultimately he run the show. Tim Gannon. It's unfortunate, but he did the right thing.
Right.
I'm only mad that they got to retire and they get me back. So that's where the bullshit lies.
Right. It's really not no real accountability if you're still getting all the benefits that you would have been getting. As a matter of fact, now you get to do that shit without doing no work.
And what's most importantly to me is that what about that person that she was training? They wouldn't have her commit murder.
Mm-hmm.
Where you go from that?
You're talking about in terms of the trauma?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, with all the shenanigans aside, even if it was an accident, it's not the kind of accident that you should just be able to walk the fuck away from. You know what I'm saying? It's not that kind of thing. Whether you meant it or not, you took another person's life, and that has to be accounted for, regardless.
So I think that the latest thing that I read right before we came online was that they were deciding that they were going to charge the officer with second-degree manslaughter or something to that effect. So what it seems like is that this black mayor is standing at the forefront of total accountability as well as total transparency in the investigation, and not allowing for the status quo to happen, if it was on someone else's watch. I think that, the young brother realizes that, it could just as likely have been him. You know what I'm saying? So politics and all the bureaucratic bullshit aside, I think that he's stepping out to do what's right. Now, whether or not it may be, a political time bomb for him that he just jumped on top of, we don't know. But in the moment, as Shell said, it's the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? And it does show that they are trying to show the public that they are accepting accountability. But accountability all comes after. Right? After somebody's ass is laying dead in the street. What is it that, how is it that we as a community are able to factor in the idea that the police, while they're supposed to be there to protect and service, most times we're viewed as though they are our hunters. And we are prey, simply trying to avoid being taken home for a fucking meal.
First of all, we're going to give it up for Mayor Mike Elliott because, like you said, he deserves that shout out. He, I guess is what you said, he's stepping in front of it, or he's attempting to step in front of it, which a lot of people don't do.
Right. And I shout out to that. But I mean, that's now. We're going to see where he at when they apply that pressure, though. We had a conversation about pressure yesterday. Sometimes don't work out the way they think it's gonna go. But I appreciate the fact that he did it, though. I just hope you keep it up. I hope you mean it. Is all I'm saying.
Well, not just
doing it to be out there doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. What I would say is I would, just on my, initial reactions, if I were to compare him to, compare him to the other young governor of Kentucky or whatever he was that came up with, or the attorney general that came up with all that bullshit, hoodwinked the fucking the grand jury in the Breonna Taylor case, right? Now he came out, and when he first stepped out, we thought perhaps he was on the same thing, right? That, he was going to be seeking justice and, 100% transparency and all of that. But turned out he was on some political bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And, he got showed up for that shit too, right? But I think that this brother right here is a little bit more authentic than that. I don't think that he's making a political play. I don't think that he's doing something just because he has to. I think that he kind of is doing what he thinks he's supposed to do, and to hell where the chips may fall.
Can you hear Frank?
Nah, Frank, your volume went off. There you go.
My bad. But I mean, if he is that dude, then more power to him, man. And the people will power him too. But if he not, it's another one of them. You know what I'm saying? Another one of them. I mean, I'm with it if he with it. I'm with him if he with it. It's a beautiful thing because I'm with it, all the shits. But you can't just be with it to be with it to be, in the front of it. You can't be with it to be in the face of it and then just fall off or just do it for political gain. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I hope so, man. I hope you mean it.
And
well, go ahead, Shell.
Everybody, because this is not just not one thing. This is not taken away from one situation. Everybody has gotten murdered in a very unfortunate and horrific way, but that shit just so unjustifiable. So why someone even one would even be pulled over just because they have air fresheners hanging in their car? I mean, that's some shit we buy every day.
The thing about it, right, and this is what's funny, not funny, but funny, peculiar, is that people become like amazed and astounded at little bits and pieces of information that's kind of regular to a lot of us that have to encounter law enforcement and shit throughout the day, your daily course of business or whatever and shit, right? So being pulled over for, I learned years ago, don't be hanging them goddamn Christmas trees from my rearview mirror, because that's one of the reasons why they'll stop me. They'll stop me for not having the front license plate, or having the license plate cover, or having the metallic shit around your back license plate, because I guess it's supposed to reflect your license plate light. Or, you know what I'm saying? It's all kind of little bullshit that the average citizen would have no idea about. And if they learned that, K-Mac got stopped because of some little shit like that, and it turned out all bad, right? You would be automatically amazed, right? But my thing is, none of this shit is really amazing to me. What's amazing is that, people are being, outraged by it and stepping up and saying something and making moves. And you have, people in various governmental positions and shit that's willing to step up and speak out against the status quo. Because, I'm 56 years old, so I experienced a whole lot of years where it wasn't no video cameras in it. It wasn't no body cams and none of that shit, right? And so you just got your ass kicked in the back of the alley. You got drove somewhere to get your ass kicked, or whatever happened with you with the police is what happened with you with the police. And so you always, people say defensive driving techniques, right? And when they say that, you think that, you protecting against somebody crashing into you or coming into your lane. So you're looking, no, defensive driving techniques for cats like me is my license is straight. My registration is straight. I got insurance on my shit. My windows is not too tinted. I don't got no shit hanging from my rear view mirror, because I know that an innocuous traffic stop, where if I was in Beverly Hills and didn't look like me, it would end up in somebody giving me a friendly piece of advice, you know what I'm saying, about the hazard of whatever the fuck it is that is technically against the law. But with me, it could end up with my ass laying in a puddle of blood in the middle of the goddamn street with a justification. And then you start to go into my history. By the time I get to the news, they got mug shots from 1979 and shit up there, I look at hair all over the place. I don't look nothing like I look like, right now. So, what I'm saying, the narrative would be that there was something that happened that had to justify the cops. He should have complied. He didn't this. Oh, he was look at his history. It's always something. You know what I'm saying, that we have to live with when we out on those streets. You know what I'm saying? And there's no getting away from it at all. There's no getting away from it.
And just to go ahead, Frank.
Now, I know, especially when it comes to histories, that when you get to comparing histories to present people, you'll find a crazy contrast. You know what I'm saying? Especially the most people that I know. So that assumption in itself is not even justified. Personally, it's just a pure unadulterated fear that we didn't even impose upon these people. They fear us. And I don't know why. I don't get it. You people like you people. You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing they can say that ever make me understand it. I wouldn't care what they talking about. I mean, that's real shit. Ain't no need to be scared of me. Ain't no need to hate me, man. I ain't did nothing to you. People ain't did nothing to you. Man.
So all that sounds real good, you know what I'm saying, in terms of what makes sense. But we all know that, what we have to worry about is not nothing that's, some logical shit. You know what I'm saying? We have to be worried about the reality of, how is it that these people look at us when they stop us? What kind of fears or what kind of baggage do they bring to the scenario that would make them be on, such a thing to have to say that they were in fear of their lives, to even think that they were in fear of their lives. Let's just say that there's something. Let's just say the police kills me, and he says, "Well, I was in fear of my life for whatever it was that I was doing." But none of it amounted to me having a deadly weapon and proceeding towards him, right? So anything that he comes up with to justify why he dumped my ass out in the street is living in his head, right? In his head and his heart, right?
Right.
Whether I'm the boogeyman, the Rodney King, big bad on PCP, and he's such a savage and uncontrollable, or if I'm just somebody who you think is just off my rocker a little bit and just not going to be compliant, or I'm just the asshole old ass dude who's been in prison a couple of times and don't give a fuck about the police. So I'm just going to fight you. Whatever it is that you think in your head as a policeman, right? That would lead you to have to take such drastic action. And I'm not pointing a weapon. You don't see a weapon. You know what I'm saying? How is it that we combat that mentality, that idea? Because that's what we're dealing with. And you never know. You know what I'm saying? Because when you see those cherries behind your ass and you pull over, hopefully in a lighted fucking area, like the Lieutenant Navarro did, and still got the shit pepper sprayed out his ass, right? But if you pull over,
still living, goddammit.
The first thing is all that no license plates on the back of your car. We are rarely in that kind of situation. So when they run my plates, right, my shit is gonna come back, my name, my criminal history, and it's also because I got a particular charge in my criminal history, right, which is battery against a peace officer. Some shit I did when I was in prison, fought the police in prison. But the way it comes up is violent offender out of whoop-de-whoop, whoop-de-whoop. So what that does is it puts the police who is running me on high alert that this is a suspect who may be armed, he may be combative, he may be all these different things that may get my ass shot in the fucking head because I'm trying to hand this motherfucker my driver's license.
Right.
And this is the kind of shit that we have to deal with. But go ahead, Shell.
I was gonna say, well, let's just talk about that a little further, because over here in the great state of Texas, where I am, Bill 9/1911 has already passed the House of Homeland Security and Public Safety Committee, and is waiting to pass the House. This great old bill is called the Texas Constitutional Carry, which would allow Texans to carry a firearm without a permit. So you tell me how in a day or age where people are already getting shot for no fucking reason, this law is about to pass. And why? If it's not to justifiably just kill us more.
That's exactly what it's for. It's basically giving the citizen.
If you don't see
right.
that this is just a segue into being able just to kill more people, then you're stupid.
But here's the thing, though. Even though we are not violent or evil in essence, man, you better arm and protect yourself too. That ain't just for them white folks, nigga. That's for you too. If you in the state of Texas and you a civilian and you can carry your piece or a firearm or sidearm, run that. I would encourage you to the highest.
That's the catch-22. So when we start camping back, how is it?
We shoot.
Can I say I fear for my life? I don't have to have a permit to have the gun. I can say I fear for my life.
Yes.
I'm a woman. Can I say it was 1 o'clock in the morning?
I would just advise you have a lot of money when you do it. But yeah.
I'm over somewhere that's a farm road and he blinked some lights and I knew I wasn't going to speed. I knew I was going to speed limit. And when he walked up to my car, can I fire on him?
That's exactly what that means for the common American. But since we are not considered that, I just advise you have a lot of money when you do it. But yeah, that's exactly what the hell that means. Because you go out to fight them legal charges, but god damn it, man.
So what I think,
yeah, I feel for my life every time I see one of them motherfuckers. You know?
What I think that particular Texas law does, right? What I think that in reality, right? Because so you have certain kind of people who have been through certain type of experiences in their lives, and they're better equipped to deal with a spontaneous scenario that is you or me scenario, right? Mm-hmm. Like for those kind of people, it's definitely you because it ain't gonna be me, right? But for the vast majority of blacks, right, especially when you're dealing with somebody that's not black, the opposition, you have a tendency for that hesitation, that all the shit that goes into your psyche. I'm going to jail. Uh, is this necessary? Am I stepping over the line? You know what I'm saying? Does he really? Will he really shoot me first? You know, all these different things.
Or actual moral compass.
Right, where exactly where you know the average black man or woman, you know, 21 to 50 years old, is going to be just that much hesitant, whereas their counterpart from a different race, mainly from the white race, will be just that much more eager to step into the situation and be the first to draw. As a matter of fact, when we think about it in terms of, uh, yeah, I got my shit. So if a motherfucker pull one on me, but the other motherfucker is thinking of it like, I got my shit and I wish a nigger would say something to me. Fuck pull anything, right? He's already loaded for bear and already has it in his psyche that, hell, law tells me I can get away with shit anyway. We're not trained to think like that. You know what I'm saying? Even if you force yourself to think like that, the vast majority of us aren't. So when you think of that in terms of the numbers, and let's just say we put 50 of those kind of white people in the fucking parking lot, all armed, and 50 of just regular brothers and sisters, right? That's just trying to make it, who have found the ability to arm themselves like it's okay. And now we're going to be in this fucking parking lot and everybody's going to be armed, right? Now, there ain't no beef. We just know everybody's fucking armed, right? Now, we also know we really don't like each other that much. The minute that any kind of scuffle or anything happens,
Free fall, right?
The blacks is going to be a little less reactionary. They're going to be like, "What's going on?" Whereas, you know, that same group of whites is going to be like, "Hey, it's fucking time." You feel what I'm saying? And I think it just kind of puts us at a disadvantage. Now, if you take that same philosophy and you take it out of the 50-50 and you just put it in the one-on-one, or you put it on one-on-one scenario, then I think that it again puts us at the disadvantage. I think that when you start to count up the scenarios that in the way they end up after say a year, 2 years of that, I think that we'll probably be on the losing end of most of those conflicts because I don't think that we're really prepared like that.
So ultimately, it's going to turn into kill or be killed. So obviously, I know I got my gun out. I'm in Texas. I don't have to have a permit for it now. I know I'm getting pulled over. And we're going to just say it's the wee hours in the morning, but these days people are getting killed in broad daylight. So I guess however that goes. And you see somebody coming to the car. So how it go? Like when he gets to the car and see the gun, does he automatically draw? I mean, he know that the Lord now say that I don't have to have a permit. So is he gonna automatically? Does it just boil down to does this person look like they're gonna do me harm on both ways?
I think that
Nick Nash.
Hey, what it do?
What's going on with
you,
y'all?
baby boy?
And then
Man
there
in
were
the
four.
building. Nick Nash
in
in
the
the
building.
building.
And
You see
like
what the topic
Tina
is?
said, it's true. The revolution that started in the revolution
Oh, yeah.
is being
Yes, it
televised.
has. That's why I said indeed.
And it's being
Oh, yeah.
televised.
But here's the thing, though. I
In
believe
real time, on live.
I believe that in the fact of being at a disadvantage, that is very true. Very, very true. But at the same time, it won't take many waves for us to get. It ain't gonna take too many times for us to get on cue. I just don't believe that we are that ignorant. You know what I'm saying? As a people, I don't think it would take that long for us to realize that we are at war. You know what I'm saying? And then the warrior comes out, and then that's how that happens. But yeah, I just don't think we'll stay in that state of. I just think it'll be altogether crazy at the end of the day. You got to stay on your side. I'm gonna stay on mine, and somebody gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Period.
I agree with you, Keena. They went in now, but with laws like this, it ain't gonna be long before we start capping back because we actually might have a good test in court with that.
Yeah. I definitely don't think it'll take that much.
What's going on?
Chime on in, baby boy.
Yeah, it's kind of hot up in here. I don't know if I have the right kind of shoes on right now.
I didn't bring my fine shoes.
No, but on the for real, I was gonna say that you're not no stranger to none of this shit either. You know what I'm saying? Having to deal with them people. As a matter of fact, you offer, not to put your shit out there, but you ain't got no fucking secrets, no way. You kind of offer a added perspective in terms of dealing with being a black man and dealing with law enforcement on the whole other side of shit, right? Like in terms of when you had to go through your CCW shit and, you had to fucking go to the fucking range with them and take the classes and, communicate with them. And I don't think that if those same cops saw you on a late night with your pistol and me on a late night with the same CCW, that they would have the same reaction. What you think?
Yeah, they will still have the same reaction because they don't know you, because it's an anonymity, right? Because it's actually the whole part of it is governing ourselves, right? So that's just out the window because you are a person that actually or entity that controls yourself, your thoughts, your actions, and in protecting your home. First of all, it comes with a great responsibility because people get it misunderstood and misconstrued that just having to arm yourself, you still have to go follow the letter of the law and you still have to be accountable for your actions. Now, to take that a little further in clarification is when you start getting in the upper echelon of law enforcement, it still comes on a political level. They still, it assistant chief or chief of police has to deal with where we're going to put the stop signs at, where we're going to, what the funding is going to come from. Where's all these different avenues, but not focusing on officer friendly like it used to be in school when we was growing up. Officer friendly, so that don't exist because it's smaller communities. We knew the people that were the police officers. You know, they knew your mother, they knew your father. But when you get people that's jumping back and forth from city to cities, or I would say try to militarize the police, it's a whole different story, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't look at if you're a felon or not. Everybody is guilty and guilty. So wherever it is, it could be traffic, it could be a domestic violence, it could be uh, uh, welfare check. When people show up and they misinformed or they get their job twisted, it comes with a great cost. It comes with a great cost. Like you said, even training with them, you know, it was always the questions, why are you a civilian in this situation? Like, what makes you more special than anybody else on the street? Because we at war anyways. We at war with the law. You know what I'm saying? And how it's going to be placed upon us. You know what I'm saying? How to keep us actually in check. And that's kind of like a real taboo subject to be going into. You know what I'm saying? Because people got what to say this, right? We have to get to the mental mindset. I'm always bringing that mental mindset up, but I think that's a big thing in our plight right now. Mental mindset. This person's worrying about getting home. Damn, we worrying about getting home too. You know what I'm saying? But if you communicate with me from the start, it's like, hey, it's not all of that, but I see you. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're doing something wrong, and how we say it is the whistleblower, not the snitch, the whistleblower. If I go and say, hey, chief, your officer is acting up in the community, is he going to turn the doors like, mind your business, we're going to fix it internally? Or he going to have a community, we meet in the middle of the park, which you won't do. So I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
So what you
you know what I'm
so
saying?
so basically what you're saying is that in terms of um, the cops versus the community, it is the cops versus the community, and why it is that is because you don't have in community policing. You have people from outside of the community coming into the community trying to police us, and then they're not really being able to connect with us. And even like you were saying, when you are doing something that should be so above board as, you know, look, I'm going through the legitimate steps to get my shit. You
Mm-hmm.
know, for whatever reason, you could be a fucking jeweler, anything, right? But you're
Mm-hmm.
going through the legitimate steps to get your shit. And then so they treat you with a different kind of respect, but they realize that they treat you with a different kind of respect because it's like, you know, damn, what's up with you? I mean, I see you here, so you should be here, but why are you here? You know,
There
like,
you go.
should we be expecting the rest of the niggas to come behind you, or are you just one of them special kind of niggas? Is that
Yeah,
what you kind of saying?
exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody who knows their rights as a person that's protecting their home, man or woman. Because there was some women in the class that's like, yeah, I need this because I live in this particular in, in environment. You know what I'm saying? So for you to even educate yourself, you know what I'm saying, on the law, on your rights, on what you're able to do, because pretty much you're a deputized sheriff. You know what I'm saying? You sworn the oath to protect and serve, just like everybody else, just like the normal person that goes to the academy, right? But if you come, okay, I got a real good mentor in my life, right? I'm not gonna mention no names, but he actually he opened up my eyes to this thing. Okay, well you are a chief of police, right? You are really the official next to the top cop, which is the mayor, right? The mayor is the top cop. So anything that goes on in the police department, you go talk to the mayor. He should be able to change it. It's hiring and firing, right? But this is the thing: when the community goes, it say this is how we want to allocate the money that we voted for into the thing. But the mayor and the chief of police moves out of the community where you can see him outside cutting his grass and be personable and go talk to him, right? It's no such accessibility. No such accessibility. You know what I'm saying? It got to be broadcasted and put on Front Street, or people try to put themselves in position where they think they're getting the community involvement thing in their favor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but see
So
here. Oh, never mind. Sorry, my bad.
go ahead,
Here,
go ahead. You know, but
here's the thing about that though. That's where our focus needs to be. Learning our amendments, you know, learning our constitution, and controlling our local politicians, controlling local politics, the stuff that we actually have action and control of that. That's where it counts because we directly vote the mayor in. You know what I'm saying? We directly. So that's where it starts. I don't know if I change the name mentality, but we can change the people who move around us by changing the people who hire the people who move around us. Period.
so that's the to reiterate that, right? Everybody who's a police officer in any city has to live in the city to even get started. That's the baseline of operation. Until that happens, you know what I'm saying? Somebody's gonna move from Orange County. Somebody's gonna chase the bag, as you want to say. Police people chase the bag, whether they're getting out the military, whether they have enough money to say, I'm gonna get the K9 unit, I'm gonna buy my own car, I'm gonna do all these things. And now you gotta look at the union that they belong to too. You know what I'm saying? People forget about the union, you know. So I could sign up for the NRA and have all these, if something happened, have all this legal representation or whatever. But when I get up there, I'm still Nick Claire the Pony. You know what I'm saying? I'm still Nick Nash. Somebody know a story about him. You know what I'm saying? When it
So
comes down to it.
so so we kind of all, you know, how we feel as regular citizens having to deal, with the police and knowing, various racist attitudes and, the discriminatory practices and shit that we have to deal with, have had to deal with for, time immemorial here in the United States. But here's a very interesting question. How do we regard, well, no, not even how do we regard. What do you think is the mental framework of a black officer working in a predominantly racist white police department? And that black officer is not an Uncle Tom. He joined the academy for the exact reasons that Nick just said. He wanted to be part of helping to police his own community. But what he ran into was all these various racist groups and gangs within the police department, a bunch of corruption, and a bunch of shit that was nothing like what he or she thought they were getting into. And secondly, how about some of the non-uniform auxiliary people who earn a living working within police forces, right? Mental health professionals, probation officers, nurses, cooks, all the people that go, that goes into the running of, let's just say, a big institution like the LA County jails and shit like that. And these are people who come home to, this is our cousins, our wives, our husbands, people who are really like us, but have to go deal with that fuck shit all day, every day. How do you think that affects them mentally, and how do you think that they are able to deal with it? Like Felicia said, feeling like the Black Klansman. If any of you guys have seen that movie,
That's a little deep right there. So I don't know. That's one of the parts where you could say that you know what you're signing up for, right? So high expectations, like we said the other day, make you an asshole, right? So when it actually comes down to it, when you in the mix, being a part of any association or anything that comes to affecting people's lives for generations, it comes to a tall day because it start revealing to you when you get in there with the truth that you always believed. Like people dreamed about being firefighters. People dreamed about being lawyers and secretaries and school teachers, right? But it was very, very few in our community that was saying that I want to be a police officer. You know what I'm saying? So then the thing is, when you actually sign up for it and you see that your impact ain't shit, because when you start stepping up against and try to make it right, either you don't have enough rank, either uh, you are a person that's turning everything upside down. When they say for years it's been working okay for us, we getting a check, we getting our pension, and we're gonna retire. I got 15 more years in, and I'm gonna make it home every night at with any cost. You know what I'm saying? So,
So
Mac, that's like you said.
hold up.
Let's take it to.
Keeping on that. At what point do you start going against the grain? You in these cars, you taking these drives. For all intents and purposes, you may be the senior cop involved. When do you, or do you? I mean, do you do it right and risk scrutiny in the department? I mean, because that's some shit you got to deal with on the regular now. So
right?
I guess I'm saying, do you put yourself out there for the middleman? I mean, I thought you said you were taking the job to help the middleman, but now you don't even
So
want to protect him because who's protecting you?
So
because
I get,
because but because you quickly find out, right, that it's nothing you could do. You know what I'm saying? So no matter how much that you said that I'm a write this citation, I'm a be corrected on the penal codes, I am going to change it from my perspective, where I think it should be in the overall picture. It's a juggernaut that you're going against, and you slowly gonna be sitting at your desk with rattlesnakes in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
so, so that becomes the dilemma, right? Like you know the repercussions, and you know the risk rewards of not saying anything, right? but it's tearing at you because it's you black. It is what it is. You really about your people, right? So to answer Shell's question, or to kind of answer it it's not a question of at what point do you make that decision to because the only decision that you're making is to say something, right? The decision to not say nothing has already been made for you, right? You've been living that for however long you got up to peak of the dilemma scenario. But my question is, for all that time until you get to the point where you're saying, fuck that, I'm gonna buck the system, how is it that you are able to deal with the whole mental anguish, the stress, and not saying nothing, not making a snide ass comment to the fucking nigger joke that this piece of shit next to you thought was funny. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to be looked at as the angry black man in the
I
office
think,
with all this
Felicia,
fucking
I feel the
police.
same way about that as I feel about somebody with a palm tree in a rear view. Having a warrant, a bench warrant, does justify. It's no justification for murder.
Never.
Never.
At all. It
So
ain't
that's
nothing
how
that
I
they can
feel
do
about
or you
that.
can do that would justify you
Justifying,
being murdered unless you attempt to murder
yeah,
somebody else.
But
right.
again,
But
like I was saying about that from the beginning, Fee, um, you know, um, we all know that there's no justification, but some of us know that it's part of the expectation. And so you live your life trying to play around that shit because you know that these motherfuckers pull you over for the fucking Christmas trees in your rearview mirror. And you know that it might not come out as good scenario, right? At best, you might end up at the fucking precinct overnight or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Or shut the fuck up and suck some ass, because there ain't no in between. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no talk to me with some dignity. Let's have an adult conversation with this motherfucker that's shining the light in your fucking face. That ain't going down. Not in no community that I ever been in. And so, you kind of live with that. I think me and Felicia was talking about this months ago about, having to, as a parent, and now it's time for your kid to start to learn to drive. And then you not only have to teach him how to maneuver this automobile, but you also have to teach him how to react when it's time for your ass to get pulled over for swerving or whatever. Because you don't get pulled over and you're a
period.
black man. It don't matter that you're 16. You're a black man. You're 6'1", 220 fucking pounds. You're a black, you the boogeyman to this fucking white ass cop and shit with these dark ass glasses on at 11:30 at night. You know what I'm saying? So it's emotionally taxing. You know what I'm saying? The way that we have to regard and deal with and factor in police contact in our community, because I don't think other communities have to go like they don't have to go through this kind of shit.
Right.
Hey,
Psychological.
so look, this is a cold twist to it too, right? Because you could be in the community, some person comes from outside the community. Now you've been driving around, they don't know who you are, right? So you might be the sergeant driving your car with your wife and family off from work. Your car don't have clear nothing that support your local sheriff or local police officer, right? And you pull into some neighborhood, they got this dude from out of town that been there 3 months, haven't ran across, you been on vacation or out on sick leave or whatever, right? And he actually pulls you over. Now, normally you don't, but between law enforcement, you don't whip out your whole credentials. It's like, dude, I live in this community. But for somehow that person said, I want to see what you're gonna do when you're handling a family. Now, one or two things could happen, right? Look, I am your sergeant that you don't know about. I know who you are, but I'm gonna see how you conduct yourself, right? And it goes bad. Oh, you got a gun? Oh, your wife got a gun? You know what I'm saying? Well, why you didn't tell me that at the beginning? But do you have to be transparent? That's the first number one thing, right? Even if your parent is the 911 operator that deals with all these people all the other times, right? Because it comes down. So let's put it, whether you white or black, the man or woman, the forces that be saying, look, if we don't keep up on this department and the revenue coming in by whatever it takes for the revenue to come in, and you not production, they're gonna move you somewhere else, right? But that's the one thing where they look at the community to fund themselves, but they're not doing nothing mentally. They're not doing nothing. They do something physically to you. They break you down and make you sound in the cold, walking from work or whatever, right? But then they take taxpayer money after that and had to play a lawsuit if they did this. You know what I'm saying? I will ask y'all this: is it more of an economical impact that it shows on our community with the tickets showing up the court, people being incarcerated for missing out on a ticket or a seatbelt or jaywalking, or all this stuff? Where does the money come from? Where does it add up? And that's how. And what is the mental mindset of the police officers that's in our community? Do we take it once a month and take them to counseling? You know what I'm saying? What's going on at your house? What you mad at? What you want? What you gonna put back in our community? You know what I'm saying? Are you gonna beat
But
up
in
because
that
you like?
regard, go ahead.
I said because their wife could have been around the corner with Joe Blow. You know what I'm saying? While he was at work the whole time, talking about he come home, he's an asshole. You know what I'm saying? So he takes it out on the whole community. You
Well,
know what I'm
we
saying? We
already
don't know.
know that we already know those kind of things are motivating factors in the way that a lot of these cops treat minority citizens. That they
But Keith,
police.
that's just it. We're not even gonna say minority citizens. Let's touch base on the Army dude in Virginia. Two police
Oh my
officers
goodness.
sprayed his ass, and he was in BTU.
Right, right.
Where does the where does the courtesy even extend?
Okay, see, okay, I was thinking this as well. So when you are a cop and another cop runs your plate and your shit run up, it doesn't tell you, hey, I'm a cop on your shit, as opposed to when they run our shit and they say this dude's the extremely dangerous
Yeah,
criminal.
it
Don't do
does.
it, do
It
do do do
does.
do.
I think you got to have, like, if you have in California, you got to have your plates blocked or something like that. But it's a way that when they run this shit, they know that you law enforcement, peace officer,
I mean,
something
they
like
should
Oh
have
that.
known
yeah.
that he was
But
military. I,
that
yeah.
should not even be a fucking
It don't
motivating
matter.
factor. The thing about that scenario right there, and what we find happens so commonly, is that these police, first of all, they drunk on authority. And secondly, they don't give a shit about us, no matter who you are, what you are. You know what I'm saying? You could be LeBron James, you could be a doctor, you know what I'm saying, in scrubs. And, worst of all, with all this fucking Republican ass bullshit, how they gang banged on Colin Kaepernick and shit, right? With being behind the military and some more shit, I don't see none of them being outraged at the way that somebody who is an active member of the armed forces leaving his fucking post with both his hands out the fucking window, yelling to you who I am. I'm scared to get out the car and some more shit. And your whole thing was compliance. Fuck that. The nigga's gonna listen to me. I don't give a fuck who he is. He could be Obama, but you're gonna
So
listen to me
how
right
did he
now.
get to the
You're
point
gonna ride the
where he
light.
got pepper sprayed and it was
Huh?
justified? I said, how did he get to the point that he got pepper sprayed and it was justified?
It wasn't even a
Because
felony stop.
doing what I told you to do. You're gonna
Hey,
listen to
Adam.
me, boy. And the cold thing is, this motherfucker wasn't even white.
Yeah. But the thing is,
You know
right?
what I'm
They're
saying?
not even
But
know.
it's just the way they regard us. You know what I'm saying? They regard us as a community of people and shit, right? And it's almost like crabs in a barrel scenario, right? It's like everybody wants somebody that they can be above, right? And when you take it just out of the race shit and just take it to straight power, a lot of these cops were, the cats that we fucked up in high school. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't, so a lot of them joining, the police force and shit, right? Not all of them, but a lot of them is, retribution and shit. Yeah, when I get this fucking badge, they won't ever be able to push me around no more. And you bring a whole lot of mental instability and a bunch of baggage to the job with you, especially if you're looking at what you're doing as a meaningful outlet for this aggression that you have stored up in you. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I say, all the other psychological shit that goes into it. We the boogeyman. It's us versus them. Fucking savages in the jungle. And, we got to maintain control. And so anytime that they perceive there to be a challenge in the authority, then they go to level 10. You might just be asking a question like, what the fuck you mean get out the car? I mean, for what? I'm scared. Why you want me to get out the car? What did I do? These are legitimate questions. You know what I'm saying? Now, you can talk
It
that
don't
shit
matter.
about, I was worried about the safety of me and my fellow officer. And no, you wasn't. No, you wasn't. You had a 4-minute conversation for all intents and purposes with this man with his hands out the window, his face out the window. You feel what I'm saying? He presented no threat whatsoever.
Did everything you asked him to do.
Opened up the door, and you could see that he was in full military uniform.
Full.
Then when you realize, you said, what are you, a corporal? He said, man, I'm a lieutenant. He said, all right, lieutenant, you're going to do what I say.
Yeah. So
fuck your boss.
So the coldest one was the one lady. She was the state attorney, right? That's the coldest example. The coldest misrepresentation of police officers with all the stuff.
She let him talk that shit.
You know what I'm saying? With
all the way
all
to
the things.
When she said, yeah, you're gonna be hearing about this in the morning, right? Yeah, I'm district attorney. He was like, huh? He's like, yeah, I'm the district attorney. Right. The state's attorney, not the deputy. Like, I'm the motherfucker, right?
Yeah, I'm the one.
You know what I'm saying?
And head law enforcement, all you motherfuckers, right? And you'll be hearing about this one in the morning. Trust.
Yeah, and that was because the license plate was blocked. Yeah, the license plate was blocked, and you had 10 on your windows. Well, she did put she is a wanted lady if you for all purposes said, right? That she just can't be driving on the street. She driving on the street is not still protected by the people that she governs over to make things happen. Right. You know what I'm saying? So that just to show you, it don't matter what you are or who you are or whatever you at. Just like you were saying, man, that it comes a time where everybody, you know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to be. There's no such thing as decorated police officers no more, right? They want to be the top cop. They want to make the most impactful arrest in changing the community. And if they had their mindset coming into that, everybody is going to be victimized because, hey, I want to make my name known. It's like they want to be the top gang member. You know what I'm saying?
I believe that most of them come into it with, righteous intentions. Like the dude that we were talking about earlier in terms of hypotheticals. Yeah. He got into it for all intents and purposes to make his neighborhood better, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and I believe the majority of people who go into it pretty much run that lane. It's just that once you get in the pool, the cesspool of bullshit, it's hard to do that. You know what I'm saying? For those who are under that type of pressure.
Yeah, once you get sucked up by the political machine and get some money,
there you go.
So, but that goes back to what I was saying earlier, man. Local politicians, we need to get on our thing. You know what I'm saying? In terms of that, because all the rest of that shit don't benefit us like that, but our local politics can.
What do you guys think about? What do you guys think about celebrities and political pundits and sports figures and whoever that come out in these scenarios, and they always point the finger at blacks, the digital Uncle Toms, the what's the boy's name that used to be on Fox Sports?
Stephen A.
Where they had Jason Whitlocks.
Jason Whitlock, yeah.
Jason Whitlocks and Charles Barkley's and cats like that.
Nigga, that's how they feel. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what their past is like. I don't know how privileged they were or not. I don't know if they've been stopped by the police and beat across the head. I don't know. So I don't pay them 2 fucks, actually. Personally.
So what do you think about that about them promoting those kind of ideas as, what should be the prevalent mentality of blacks when it comes down to this type of shit?
Because the magnification of it, because they can reach such a wide mass of people, I believe is fucked up. But I believe amongst black people who know better, still, at the end of the day, they go draw their opinions regardless. I'm sure.
the old folks in our family always used to say common sense ain't all that goddamn common, right?
Right, it ain't.
So
But
I don't.
when you living around the people, you know the people in your neighborhood aren't bad people. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah, I
raised
know
by
that.
good people, right? So when you
I'm
hear
talking about
other black people down us or say it's always us, for those in the neighborhood who don't do that, be like, you know what I mean? Fuck that fool. You know what I'm saying? And going about our way.
You get
But
what
for those who don't know that, who only get the projection that they project, I think it's fucked up.
what
You
I
know
it's
what I'm
think.
called
saying?
get. Oh, go ahead,
What
go
I
ahead.
think is that um, I have the luxury of being older than all y'all. I have the luxury of coming from two different eras, right? And so I was like raised by the old folks who really didn't have a whole lot of information, right? So the information that was passed or that they did get was always believed, right? So whatever the fuck was on the 7 o'clock news, that's what got passed around to the family, down to the kids, on the phone across state lines and some more shit, right? The truth was that. And so I think that they were a little more easily led by people in leadership positions, right? The traditional civil rights type leaders and, shit like that, right? Because they come from that era where they really didn't have a voice. They had nobody, no way to speak, and nobody who was listening to them, right? And so they just kind of just rolled with, what the leadership said. Today's era, younger kids, kids my kids' age, they came up in the digital era, right? They don't know shit about no folklores or the old people telling you how shit is supposed to go. They get all their shit off YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, right? And all in real time. So a lot of the shit that that some of our older people may um, be prone to believe because somebody famous or somebody with a big platform said it. The younger generation, us included, right? Because even though I'm older, I consider myself younger. We have a to challenge that shit, right? But it doesn't take away from the fact that there are still the vast majority of people out there, especially people who get their news from social media, who believe the first thing that they hear and the thing that is repeated the most, be it the truth or not, especially if the lie is more entertaining. You feel what I'm saying? So I think that, in the case of, people like that who have a very big platform, who come out with this fuck shit, Sambo, or I'm going to give it a new name, or whatever the fuck Terry Crews is saying. They was calling his ass Uncle Tom. Everybody that has uh, a big platform that comes out and says some shit that is designed to get black people to just accept the status quo, I think they have to be taken pretty fucking seriously. You know what I'm saying? And I think that people with the same size platform have to make a directed effort to come out and combat that bullshit.
I
It don't
believe.
matter that that's like you and me ain't gonna believe that shit.
Right.
So first of all, that I didn't really know about the police till I got to California. You know what I'm saying? Because in New Orleans, growing up in New Orleans and going to New Rose all the time, right? That we never see no police in New Rose. You know, uh, then all the police officers that we seen in the French quarters was the ones that was in the French quarters for the parade and stuff. You had uncles and all that in the Vu Carre. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, you didn't really have contact with the police as a young person. Then when I got to California to Inglewood, right? It was school police. Oh, I'm a little late. Well, you cutting class, so I'm gonna take you down to whatever that was, Tri Ward or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Oh, did you violate? So we're gonna set you up with the Watts Health Foundation because you are what they call a truant.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I'm like, I'm I'm a truant. I was just walking to school. My mama. Oh no, that's no excuse. You right here on the 110th. You know what I'm saying? So you must be ditching. And I'm like, wow. So now it's a whole dynamic coming, and it was actually a fearful thing. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like police for a long time after that. You mean you gonna take me where I don't know? I'm from another state. You know what I'm saying? Why you talking funny? You one of them game bangers or something. Well, where you live at 111 place? Oh yeah, you one of them whatever at the park. And I'm like, no.
Which is
You know what I'm
crazy.
saying? So
You have school police in our neighborhoods. They have school police in fucking like Calabasas and shit like that. They got shit like
yeah,
Proctor. That's some bullshit.
Right.
Straight
you know,
bullshit.
I would
Man,
think I was being
not gonna
kidnapped.
go to class and get away with it.
Yeah, I felt like
I
I
I
was
was,
being kidnapped.
I was in high school. They had security. By
You
the
know what I'm saying?
time my little brother, my little sister was in high school, they had school police. Now
Wow,
they
it
got
was
a
crazy.
police station. Now they got a police station in the upper parking lot of my high school. A whole police station.
See,
Crazy.
I don't know.
Inglewood Unified School Police.
I didn't know
It's
nothing about it.
like
And we'll give your ass a ticket. How about that?
I feel like they kidnapped me, man. They took
man,
me to a place
so
lock
pitiful.
up with my book bag and everything. Talk about where you live at. You know, you affiliated with all this, right? I said, what kind of, you know, what kind of community was that? It's like that was a mental toll on me, dude. My grandfather had to tell me. Go ahead.
No, Uncle Teddy had to tell you what?
He said, that's the difference between, you know, get rid of you being ignorant and 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 like answering the questions, and this is your life now. You know what I'm saying? So this is what you got to deal with. You might think you innocent or try to justify it or try to make sense of it, but I know that it messed you up because you're not used to it. It really did mess me up. So I'm looking up. My head is on the swivel now. Either I walk down the back street or I walk down Crenshaw. You know, I can't walk in the alleyways behind Gene's liquor store. You know what I'm saying? So it
Right.
changed my whole life forever.
Oh
Them
yeah.
people kidnapped me.
I walked that same path for 1,000 years. My whole teenage life, and had to go through so much bullshit. I've been hemmed up by the ones, and
And
had
it's
my
fucked up, man, because people don't
Dunkin' Donuts took and dropped off in somebody else's neighborhood. It's a bunch of foul ass shit. Why would you do this to a 15-year-old? Like, this is a
Period.
child.
and
Feel
it's
what I'm saying?
fucked up because they
Playing
people
my fucking life. Shell, let me ask you this, right? Because I really don't know, but I know of. What is for, like a typical black woman, right? Just like you ain't hanging out on the block with the homies drinking 40s and no bullshit like that. You ain't in no high risk scenarios. So for you and your crew of female friends, what is police contact like for you guys in terms of the mental, the anticipation, the anxiety, if you have any, or what are you thinking if you get stopped?
I mean, I would say for the most part, for me and my crew, I didn't have a lot of really big interaction with getting pulled over. Yes, we did. It's New Orleans, so we did keep late night hours. But most of the time, the place we were hanging, we was literally right around the corner from wherever we were staying. Now, don't get me wrong. That I know for most men, shit, it could happen right there. I mean, there happened to be maybe once or twice some instances or something like that, but you know, I I name drop sometimes. I name drop twice and got out and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So
I
and stuff
can't do
like that.
that.
But again, I was I was in a fully lit area, and stuff like that. I tried to at least, something, but for the most part, you know, try to avoid certain roads so I knew where it was gonna might be at, back ways, highways, byways, and stuff like that. So I wouldn't just say that, it's been my life, but I will say that yeah, it's always the fear that when you pull up to, the corner and and you at the stop sign and you straight it's late and you ain't got no other cars in sight and the cop on the side of you, what you gonna do? Like like yeah, because the fear, it doesn't stop the fear and it doesn't stop the anxiety and stuff like that.
Right.
You know. So once you got that, they passed me the fuck up, then that was a whole lot. Whew, like they was gonna pull me
So,
over. Like
so you guys,
thought
so
I was
you
going
guys live, you guys live with the same kind of anxiety that we live with, just on a lesser level, right? I'm saying you don't be thinking that this motherfucker might kill you.
I mean, well, you know what? That's not my biggest fear. My biggest fear was something else. Most of the time, we were, half naked, and stuff like that. Beautiful women. So that was more my anxiety is that I might get hurt, you know,
Right.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
and stuff.
I
So
guess
I
that's
got
the
two
same.
things because I have to really roll tonight. One, I think that if you have a platform and you're not trying to use it for a lot of people or anybody that you can help, and especially with your community, then no, I think that's never a good thing. Even with me being in restaurant management, the day that I can't take up for some of my employees, then I ain't shit. And I might as well just not even try.
Mm.
I'm always gonna go for the underdog. So I'm big on that. I'm big in management. I'm big on that. I feel like I'm there to protect people, to look out for people, to inform people who may not be informed otherwise. You know, on some real shit. I done seen some stuff happen that would have benefited the company, but not benefited the employee, and they didn't not have a clue. And I'd be like, fill this fucking paperwork out, please. You
Hmm.
got hurt on the job bad,
Yeah,
you know, you know,
that would be the case.
That's how they be acting too.
so I feel like if you have a platform, then yes, if you lucky enough to have a platform to use your voice, then yes, always look out for people that ultimately can't look out for themselves. So I think that's the people who lead should do. Secondly, I personally feel that nah, it's fucked up, but I feel like once we start retaliating in a major way, because we ain't winning in the court and we ain't winning on the streets. We ain't walking or riding away from every traffic stop. And the shit go to court and we ain't winning there either. I think the people need to take their streets back.
Hmm.
Mm.
Where
Well,
everybody that was taking it for the team 20 years ago, why they not taking it for the team no more? Why was Bush still out? Why was what's his name? Agent
Trump,
Orange. Why was Trump
Trump,
allowed to be in office for all them fucking years? Why nobody thinks of that? Real
Yeah, because we
because
got
they constantly
desensitized.
talk because they constantly talked about killing Obama, and I'm glad he didn't get killed. But hell, JFK was assassinated.
Hmm.
I knew Trump was gonna get assassinated.
I didn't think he was
So
going to get assassinated.
I
I thought
did.
he
I
was
thought
going
he was
to get
gonna get hit.
impeached.
I thought he was gonna get sniped. I ain't gonna lie. I was just
I was
sitting back
just
and
waiting
like,
for that
well,
news,
I'm
and
gonna sit back
I was
and
waiting
wait.
for that.
And let me tell you who I thought. I didn't think black people was gonna take him out because he was
I didn't
messing.
either.
He was messing with. He was messing with other people
Farmers
so
and shit
bad,
like that.
Right.
so
And
bad. He was
I
messing
didn't
with
think
people
More
black
who
white
people
people.
were gonna do it either.
trying to revoke memberships and shit.
I
Citizenship. He
thought
was messing
somebody
with
would.
other people so bad. I thought somebody else was gonna take him out, but I didn't expect him to make the full term. But again, I think as a
Yeah, yeah.
I think as a community again we need those radical parties. I think we got to come back to that. I don't know how much more people feel about that, but I feel like until we start policing our own neighborhoods again, it ain't gonna happen.
I believe. I
We
And
believe.
always gonna be
Big
I,
Mo
I,
the gangster.
I
My
look.
believe.
gangster cousin right there. Don't fucking
I
play with
believe
me.
that again, though. I believe that it'll start with
they
these
don't
type
want
of.
to take me to the range now. I'm trying to get people to take me to the gun range. They already
Don't say
talking about
nothing.
we ain't got no
Talking about
permit.
I believe
Don't say nothing.
leaders will be over these type of platforms, though. I believe it'll get back to it. I believe it'll happen, but it'll be happening through these type of platforms.
right through us. Like I say,
Yeah.
it's the younger people that are getting their news through social media, and we part of that right now. All right, we went over about 10 minutes again. We don't never start or stop on time, but it's all good.
Yeah,
We have
good.
been five from the Piranha Pond. We are the Piranhas. I'm the Kingfish Mac, joined by Nick Mo, Flyer, and Nick Nass. Nick Nass, let me tell you something, man. When we go off the air, that don't mean you got to hang up, man. We still be chopping it up afterwards.
No
Yeah,
post
I
game.
don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I do it post game, mommy.
All right, I want to thank everybody for joining us on YouTube, Facebook Live. like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell, all of that. And join us again tomorrow, live at 5. We'll have some more shit to kick up. Thanks
Love
for joining.
y'all.
Love y'all.